My name is Fallou Ngom. I'm a professor at Boston University. I teach anthropology, and my work is focused on Ajami manuscripts of West Africa. In this presentation, I will talk about the healing, divination, and protection techniques in Wolof and Mandinka Ajami manuscripts, digitized through two EAP projects. First, I would like to give a context and the geographical location of Senegal, where the Wolof manuscripts were digitized. They were digitized in the area surrounding Touba, so Touba and Jurbel. Both places are dominated by the Murids, the members of the Sufi order called the Muridiya, founded by Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba. And Ajami, the use of Wolof Ajami is widespread in this area. So is bilingualism and biliteracy. So people in these communities read and write in both Arabic, and particularly classical Arabic, and the Warsh-based classical Arabic, meaning the Arabic script that they use is based on the Warsh recitation of the Quran, which is slightly different from the Hafs-based writing system that is based on the recitation of Imam Hafs, which is more used in the eastern part of the Muslim world. So Senegal is the westernmost point of Africa, and Dakar is its capital. And this is where we digitize the manuscripts, particularly in the area of Jurbel and Touba for the EAP 334 that we did in 2011. So the excerpts that I will be presenting on and discussing about in the next slides would came from this location. To begin the conversation here, I would like to first highlight the importance of the numbers and the letters that are used in these healing and divination traditions in West Africa. The numbers and letters are often referred to locally as Quranic letters and numbers. And these Quranic numbers and letters are believed to have power, to be imbued with potency. Each of the Arabic letters has a numerical value, which means that you can write somebody's name with numbers by matching the numbers with the letters of their name, mostly the consonants. So Fallou, for example, would be written in numbers with an F and an L, and Ngom might be written, because the G doesn't exist in Arabic, it might be written with a Kaf, which is 20, and then the M, which is 40. Right? So this is important because it is this matching of numbers and letters that will be used in magical amulets, that will be used for healing purposes, because sometimes somebody's names might need to be converted into numbers and to find so that they can find the best formula for that person. So knowing your number is important because it functions in some ways as your spiritual blood type, so to speak. And many illnesses and praying for you and protecting you, or making an amulet that protects you, would very often be based on knowing what is your numerical value, and therefore finding the corresponding name of God or name of the prophet or name of the jinns, and also how many times do you have to repeat or recite, if there is a litany that you have to recite, or how many times that the name of that spirit, whether it's a jinn or the prophet, prophets actually, or Quranic verse might have to be repeated. So the numbers, the relationship between the numbers and the letters is fundamental to understanding, how this system works. The second point is it's important also to know that through this system of the relationship between the numbers and letters, the specialists in this area believe that they can tap into the divine wavelength, into the domain of the batin, where they can influence actually decisions of the divine, so that you may be lucky, you may win, if you do an exam, you may have a good luck, and things like that. Okay, so mastering the numerology and the relationship between letters and numbers are so important because they are regarded as a tool to tap into the divine wavelength or the wavelengths of the supernatural, or what they would call the batin, where they believe there is a perfect harmony between letters and numbers. So that's the second point. The third point is that these numbers and letters that are often called magical numbers or mystical numbers serve various purposes. So they are used for example, protection, for charms, for personal protection, protection of one's family, protection of one's property. They're also used for protection from real or imagined enemies. They're used for good luck charms, and also very often in medicine, treatment of various illnesses. And in many of these cases, they're often combined with particular names of God or particular names of the Prophet Muhammad and other prophets, and some might actually involve recitation of particular verses of the Quran, or some might involve names that are often names of spirits or jinns. In some of the manuscripts that were digitized in Wolof, there are several figures that reflect local preoccupations, both health preoccupations, but also the desire to protect oneself or one's properties. Besides the use of magical numbers or letters, they also use names of important figures of Islam. These includes names of the prophets and names of the 4 caliphs that are called Khulafa Rashidun, the rightly guided caliphs, and also names of angels are used. On this particular one is the name of the 4 caliphs who led Islam after the death of Prophet Muhammad. And they are Abu Bakr, normally Abu Bakr, but they call him Abu Bakr, Umar, Usman, and Ali. So these 4 were the ones who led the Islamic faith after the death of Prophet Muhammad. Now, based on the documents, it describes it as an important formula that is very potent, very powerful to protect someone from falling, either falling from a tree or falling in a sea or in waters, in rivers, drowning, and protection from bandits on the road. And the document also says that this formula could protect someone when it's used as an amulet and tied in a vehicle. So it can be used to protect passengers traveling in the vehicles. On this figure, which is drawn from the same document that is most likely produced in the 20th century because it's still being used in Wolof communities in Senegal, although there is no exact date on the document. The figure includes the names of the 4 caliphs of Islam and the name of Prophet Muhammad. and the names of angels. So on the first row, we have Abubakar, that's Abu Bakr, first caliph, and in the middle of that first row, you have Jibril, that's angel Gabriel, and the last word is Umar, that's the Caliph Umar. In the middle row, you have Israfil, who is known in Islam to be the angel who will blow the trumpet to announce the day of resurrection. And in the middle, you have Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, and the last word of the middle row is Mikael. So that's Michael in Christianity, and known as the angel who controls rain, so the rain giver angel. And then in the last row at the bottom, we have Usman, so that's another caliph. And then you have Israel, that's the angel of death. And then finally, you have the Caliph Ali. Okay. So this formula is said to be very important, a very important way to help women who have challenges conceiving a child. I should note that the placement of these names is not done randomly. Only the person who did it knows the system that underlies it. Usually that knowledge is acquired through apprenticeship. This formula is an interesting one. Again, it's from the same manuscript. It is said to protect from jinns, from spirits. And it is said that when a woman has a male spirit lover, or her husband has a female spirit lover, they should write the following letters on the skin of a black sheep and put the amulet in their room. And they say no jinn would come close to that room. So what's interesting is that there is a belief in these communities that men and women can have spirit lovers, and that because those spirits get jealous, they can be the source of illnesses and problems and trauma in the family. So when a woman has a jinn lover, or a man has a female jinn lover, this formula is used to protect themselves from the harm that those spirits bring to them. This is an interesting one, again from the same manuscripts. And here we have a deployment of the potency of both the letters and the numbers. This formula is said to make a man improve his sexual performance with his wife. And it's said that it must be made as an amulet and be worn by the man. This is another interesting figure that deploys the Quranic chapter called Ikhlas, which is Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, Lam Yalid, Wa Lam Yulad, Wa Lam Yakun Lahu Kufuwan Ahad. So it's the declaration of God's unity and mystical numbers. Okay, so it says that the formula is useful for someone who has chronic daily headache. It is used as follows: write a copy of the Khatim, soak it in water until the writing dissolves, and take out the paper. Then use the liquid to wash the head of the ailing person in a place that is ritually pure and free of defilement. They will see positive results, God willing. Okay, this is the last figure from the Wolof manuscript, and it was the last page of the document, actually the cover page, and it did not have any explanation. When I talked to a specialist, he told me that this is a protection against anything harmful. The elements that we can see in the figure include Arabic words. The first one is Asad, Al-Asadu, that's a lion with the image of the lion. And you have Ash-Shams, and that's the sun, with the image of the sun. And you have Al-Sayf, which is the sword. And then you have the word Allahu, with the H in the middle written several times. So it's multi-layered. And inside the H, you have numerous calculations with mystical numbers. So here, the potency of Arabic letters and numbers are exemplified as the ingredients, the potent ingredients that make this formula powerful. It's interesting that in most of these figures, it's always Arabic words and Arabic numbers that are used as the potent ingredient that gives power, that empowers the formula. And this is because these Arabic letters and formulas, these Arabic letters and numbers draw their power from the Quran. Because in these communities, the letters of the Quran that you see are actually imbued with life, with power. Okay. The Ajami texts are usually used for explanations. So you may find formulas like this always have explanation on the side on how to use it, on what it heals. Just like when you have a medicine and a bottle of medicine, and you have the chemical composition that is potent, and then you have the instructions of how to use it in plain English, okay? In these cases, the plain English of how to use the medicine is often in Ajami, which is the local language written with the Arabic script, but the potent ingredient is often in Arabic, Quranic letters and Quranic numbers that are believed to have power. Okay. In this case, I think that there is an omission of information about the formula that is inserted inside the word Allah, and only the specialists would know them. And in this case, we see again that omission is often used as a password, as a way to protect the material from those who do not have authorized access. Okay, I now move to southern Senegal, particularly in the region traditionally known as Casamance, which is the southern region of Senegal where the Mandinka people live. We digitized through an AAP project over 18,000 pages of bilingual text produced by Mandinka scholars, and those texts were written in Mandinka Ajami and Arabic, particularly the Warsh-based Arabic that I mentioned earlier, which is different from the Hafs-based Arabic that is the base of modern standard Arabic. So the southern region of Senegal is very different from the northern part in terms of ecology, in terms of languages, in terms of cultures, and in terms of religions. The southern part of Senegal is really a melting pot where Christians, Muslims, and followers of traditional religions live side by side. And the Mandinka language and Mandinka culture has dominated this area, including the Gambia, which is between northern part of, which separates the northern part of Senegal from the southern part of Senegal. This manuscript deals with divination with prayer beads. It does not include figures and numbers and letters in magical squares. It's a prose text. It has 18 pages with sections. The first page, which is this page, is the introduction, and it includes the verses and the names of God to be recited before the divination with prayer beads starts. The themes discussed in the manuscript include predictions about illness, predictions about livestock projects, predictions about farming, predictions about business, predictions about marriage, predictions about children, predictions about travel plans, predictions about family, and many other issues. The people who use this technique are usually interested in learning a lot about their lives, what the future holds for their projects, and they tend to come to local uh, local Muslim leaders called Marabu in West Africa, and they consult them about their future. So the customers who come to use the services of the owner of the manuscripts, based on their last names, come from different faiths. So we have Christians, Muslims, and followers of traditional religions who all live in the southern region of Senegal, who come to consult the services of the local Muslim leader who owns this material. Okay, this is where the divination begins. It's the second page of the manuscript in Mandinka, and this is what it says in Mandinka. Suba sinya woro wula wala sinya saba. Isa tupi tasa bio kang. Isa landi haji tiyo sa chika. Ase kese killing muta. Min tuta anin kungo tema. Asa konte sai sai. Nin atuta seila bunda seifele. Babu kibaru folo kurantolemu. Ala sasa be kolyala bake. Ako ni ilafita dunna beyang kuo leto. Ako ate nafala. Ako ni ilafita dunna sene kuo leto. Kaira babi je. Insha Allahu ta'ala. Sene feo be tutula. Kaira ba kono aninsima ya kono. So that's what the text says in Mandinka, and this is the English translation. To be recited 7 or 3 times at dawn, blow on the prayer beads, put them down, and ask the patient to choose a prayer bead. Immediately, count the beads that are between the chosen bead and the knot of the prayer beads. If 8 remains, it will be section 8. And in that section, the first information given concerns a patient. His illness will be trying. If he wants to start a livestock project, it will be a failure. However, if he plans to go into farming, his business will be successful, God willing. The plants will take root in fertile soil. This Mandinka Ajami document is a manual for divination using sand, a popular form of fortune telling in Mandinka communities. It consists of 10 sections, each of which contains symbols that correspond to important figures, including Yusuf, Joseph, Adam, Musa, Moses, and Idris, Enoch. Each sign can be used to interpret the fortune of a petitioner, and the manual also indicates which kinds of offerings must be made to whom and on which days. The manual includes illustrations to help the diviner interpret the signs in the sand. It indicates the kind of relationships between petitioners and Mandinka Marabur, that is to say, spiritual leaders and healers, and it illustrates the kind of worries, desires, and goals that weigh on petitioners' minds. This figure is an interesting one. It is used as a charm for great fortune. And it is said that it attracts to the person who has it tubabu nafulo, meaning white people's wealth. And in this case, white people's wealth means material wealth. This figure is one of the many we found in the Mandinka Ajami materials we digitized in southern Senegal. So the figure consists of a small circle in which al-mal is written. And al-mal means in Arabic money or wealth. And surrounding al-mal are elongated lams, so the letter lam for L in Arabic, and an elongated form of the letter waw in Arabic, which is W, okay? And those elongated lams and wows surround the small circle, leaving spaces between them. There are 20 spaces surrounding the small circle, and in each of those spaces, in 18 of those spaces, there are names of prophets. Some of the names of the prophets included are Ibrahim, Muhammad, Zakaria, Isa, Ayub, Yusuf, Ismail, Ilyas, Dawood. So those names and others fill out 18 of the 20 spaces. So there are 2 spaces that are empty. The reason why they're empty are unknown to me. It might well be one of the techniques that they use to protect sensitive information, knowledge that is only in the hands of the specialist or the owner of the text. At the bottom, you have this is very common, there's some form of division of labor between the Arabic text that is believed to be potent and the Ajami text that is used for instructions and explanation, as I mentioned earlier. At the bottom, it says the first word is ismuho, meaning its name. And usually there is a name for these formulas, and the way to use it. So that's what's described at the bottom. And it says that this is a formula for good luck, protection of one's home, but also to bring wealth in one's life. This one is designed to improve the loving relationships between a husband and a wife. It is said that it should be made as a charm and buried in the couple's bedroom or under their bed. And it is said that it can help to keep them together forever. Okay, this one is called in Mandinka Hakili Diaring, meaning enhancing intelligence. So it is often given to school children, and it belongs to a larger genre of this text called Kiso in Senegambia, meaning charms that could be used as a liquid to be drunk. So in this case, it is said that it should be soaked in water and drunk. And it is supposed to enhance intelligence, retention of information among students. In Senegambia, it is often combined with honey and sometimes with sugar, but those details are not provided in this figure. Just like the previous figures, this one is also written in Arabic. The figure consists of magical numbers and Arabic phrases with the names of God and his attributes. Some of the words included in the text are Rahim, mercy, Salam, peace, Min Rabbi, from God or from the Creator. And the bottom part is, as seen earlier, an explanation of the value of this charm. It is said that it is used to chase away witches, Satan, and one's enemies. So it's used for protection. This one is called Mojau Bairão, meaning chasing away evil people. So it is used as a form of protection, and the figure only contains magical numbers. It doesn't have names of God or names of the prophet, but it's very possible that these numbers have equivalent names of spirits or God or prophets. And the bottom part, as usual, is in Mandinka, and it says in summary that it should be written as a charm and tied on one limb, or it could be soaked in water and drunk. The bottom parts, the last line says it's a great charm. This last figure in the from the Mandinka collection is a very interesting one. It starts with a doxology, a formula that is often found in Mandinka Ajabi text, which is Hasbunallah, meaning in Arabic, God is sufficient for us. And then you have 5 words that are written with 9 kafs. And each of the 9 kafs has a combination of tanweens, meaning 2 lines above and 2 lines below. This is not found in Arabic. So there are 3 ways to pronounce each of these words. The first one is if you read only the tanween above, the 2 lines above, and ignore the ones below, it should read as kang 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 kang. If you read the ones below, it should be read as king 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 king. Now that's the second possibility. The third possibility is to read first the above, the 2 lines above, and then read the 2 lines below with the kaf. Should be kang king kang king kang king kang king kang king kang king kang king. Actually, there is a 4th possibility, which would be to read the 2 lines below first and then read the 2 lines above with the kaf. So it should be king kang king kang king kang king kang king kang. So each of these words is written in the same way, so they're identical. Okay, it looks like that this could well be the name of a jinn. I have seen texts similar to words similar to these ones, and they often refer to jinns. It's interesting that there is no Arabic sign in terms of names of God or names of prophets. It seems that this one is only is a local innovation and a name that is not specified as a human name, so most likely a jinn. Okay. Its purpose, it is said below that it has multiple purposes. It destroys enemies and evil people, but also it attracts crowds. So this would be something that someone who want to be famous might be used, who want to be famous but also want to protect themselves. Okay, so this is the last one of the collections of such texts from the Mandinka archives. To wrap up this presentation, I want to note that the material we've shown here are only a drop in the larger ocean of manuscripts that exists in Muslim Africa, in this case, particularly Senegambia. I find them very interesting because they capture the local worldviews, local belief systems, and local preoccupations, including health issues, protection of oneself and one's family, success in one's endeavors, issues of marriage, issues of reproduction, and many other important issues to the people. So I'm also very fascinated by the profound mathematical knowledge that many of these people possess. The arithmetic knowledge usually derived from the science that is often called hisab, which is where they learn these numbers and how to compute them. So it's always very interesting to see how they're so good with numbers because mastery of these numbers is required to be able to make these charms because there is a mathematical system that needs to be known to be able to produce the charms that they believe are very potent. So there are a lot of areas of investigation here that I hope other scholars and students will pursue in the future. Thank you very much.